Mrs. Michael started Grace because some friends of hers, I'm not sure if it was one or two families, asked her to um, tutor their children. The families just felt like the kids weren't doing very well in school as well as they could be doing. And so she started. I think there were 3 or 4 kids to start with, and she started in the basement of her house, and then it just grew from there. People just started, more and more people started to come, and it had very small roots.
Michael was someone who was extremely dedicated to education. She had a heart for finding out what was best for kids. She wanted a Christian environment for students, and she wanted to offer something possibly that the public schools didn't offer at that time. So hence why my parents were looking for a school back when I was going into 3rd grade. They heard Mrs. Michael and her vision of what she believed in education and thought that was a great opportunity.
I don't know, it's kind of like when you ask somebody to describe your home. It's a little bit hard because at the time that's just what is. That was the first school I went to. And so, there were some teachers that were really, really nice. There's some teachers that were strict. You kind of had a variety. It was small. Back then I didn't think about that very much, but as you get older you realize, wow, a class with 15 or 20 kids is pretty small. So that's probably one of the things that stood out to me about Grace Academy, and just how it really did feel like home. It was my community. It was pretty tight-knit, I would say. When we came here, we were like, I remember thinking, there's grass? Like, we get to play outside on the grass? This is phenomenal. And we had a gymnasium where we could have gym classes. Our old gym classes were in a basement room with a tile floor.
It was really kind of cool. I mean, there's only 4 classrooms, so we got to do a lot of things that other kids probably wouldn't be to do, like hence like the roller skating and skateboarding down the hallways, and it was just a really nice, intimate relationship with friends and teachers. I mean, teachers really care.
Well, Grace Academy was much smaller, physically, numerically, in every budget-wise. Everything was much smaller, so everything was hands-on. Everybody did everything. There were no specialized jobs or anything like that. But there's something at the core that makes it seem like home and family. In fact, some of the people you mentioned, many of the people that work here, at least a number of the people that work here now, are former students of mine. So that certainly helps give it a feeling of home and family, yes.
It has been an extremely meaningful learning experience to see the ins and outs of what it means to be a principal and get to know the school. And in some ways, the last level that I haven't known at it. I've known as a student, as a coach, as a teacher, as a lead teacher, and now as a principal. So I've seen a lot of different views of the school. And once again, it still feels like home, still feels like a community, just different perspectives.
Think of a job. I want to go to a place that's going to better me as a person, where I'm going to feel like I matter and there's an importance. And just nothing had changed. I came back to a family who opened their arms and accepted me back as an adult, just as much as they did when they were a kid. And this is the best atmosphere to ever teach in. I love everyone who works here. They're so supportive and encouraging. If I would ever need anything, I know I could count, even as Grace Academy as a family. They would help me.
There's more of an emphasis on having relationships with the students and with the parents. Not that we didn't have relationships in the past, but I think the priority now is on the relationship rather than on the rules.
School facilities have changed dramatically and improved dramatically. And to some degree, I think our clientele, the students that we have coming here, are more diverse in a number of ways. We've got a lot more racial diversity. We've got Certainly we've got a lot of international students, which when I came here, that wasn't a thing.
We're always wanting to do what's best for our kids. And from a teacher point of view, I'm just happy to say that I have 12 kids in my class, and I know each one of my students intimately. And even though we're a K-3 through 12 grade school, we do blessing buddies. We have times where our elementary gets to be with the upper elementary, which kind of provides that family atmosphere. The kids say hi to the big kids in the hallway. The big kids acknowledge the little kids. There's sports where the kids can come and cheer for them. Even though we're big in number, we still have that family atmosphere that we all know each other.
If something doesn't change, it dies. And that without change, there's no growth.
So having almost 30 years at Grace Academy, the basic concept of Grace Academy hasn't changed. God is still the center of everything that we do here, and children are number one. That's the main thing. Has things changed? Yes. We have to change to provide things that are going to help our students. Technology changes, different teaching, ways of teaching has changed. But when it comes right down to the bottom line, it's still about what's best for the kids and putting God first and making sure they know that.